Hello and welcome. So today I will be sharing with you fragrances that I think are perfect for work. Whether you work in an office or you work outside of the office, you're bound to find a fragrance that will be a good fit for you. I will be sharing with you 12 fragrances, but I have grouped them in 3 different buckets. The first one is what I like to call on the regular office fragrances. So fragrances that you can pull any day to go to work. The second group is those fragrances that are specific to days where you have a very important meeting or you're meeting with a client and you want to take your game a bit to the next level. Then there's the third group, and those are fragrances that are perfect for those days where you will be working in or out of the office all day, but then you have cocktails with coworkers or you have an important business dinner meeting, that type of fragrance. But before we jump right in, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and in this channel we love to talk about fragrances, makeup, and fashion. I upload videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. If that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and a good plan, well then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave a comment. Let's go. So the first fragrance that I have for you today that is part of the on the regular office fragrances is from my favorite fragrance house. And I'm always saying this, so I'm sure you already know it's XERJOFF, but I am speaking about WARDASINA. WARDASINA is an amber floral fragrance that opens with quite a bit of tobacco. I would say that tobacco is the most dominant note in this fragrance. But what I love about this fragrance is that it has so much character. Even though that note of tobacco is the star of this fragrance, you would not believe how smooth and how perfectly balanced it is. This fragrance is warm, spicy, woody, sweet, with a beautiful rose and hints of patchouli. There is nothing screechy about this fragrance, even though it has so many notes that could lend themselves to create quite an intense fragrance. This fragrance is just a delight and perfect for the office. It is a fragrance that brings character to the table without being overpowering or offensive. You don't have to overspray this fragrance. As a matter of fact, none of the fragrances that I will be sharing today, I recommend that you overspray if you're using them for the office. This is also a fragrance that you can use any season of the year, day or night. If you are a rose lover or you prefer to have a light but elegant floral fragrance for the office, then I think your best match would be Royal Crown KIMIYA. Royal Crown KIMIYA is an incredible fragrance. It is one of my favorite fragrances for the office, just for a regular day in the office, whether it's a casual day or more of a business casual occasion in the office. It is a beautiful floral fragrance that has such a bright and modern rose with some white florals, but then there's a bit of oud. The oud is balanced very well with a beautiful note of honey. This honey is not syrupy because there is nothing out of order in this fragrance. Everything is just right. The rose always continues to be the dominant note in this fragrance, and like I said before, it is a bright and modern rose. This is the type of fragrance that will add a pep to your step and make you feel powerful but beautiful and feminine all day long. So we all have periods in the office where things are a little bit stressful and a bit chaotic. This next fragrance really has the power to soothe emotions. You do know that fragrances can alter moods, and I find that this fragrance is so zenish, calm, cool, and collected. And I am talking about Merchant of Venice Gyokuro. Gyokuro is a fruity green floral fragrance with a beautiful tea note. It has some tuberose, quite a bit of white florals, but it is still fresh and sweet. Even though this is a soothing fragrance, it does have some character, as it has some touches of like an animalic quality. All in all, this is a beautiful fragrance that is non-offensive and that will, like I said before, soothe and calm the spirits when things are a little bit stressful at the office. The next fragrance on my list will not come as a surprise if you've been a fragrance lover for a while. This is one of the most versatile fragrances. You just can't go wrong with this fragrance, to be honest with you, for any occasion. But I happen to think that this fragrance is perfect for the office. It is a fragrance that you can use in any season for day or night. And I'm speaking about INITIO's Paragon. Paragon is a woody, spicy fragrance that is, as I just said, warm, spicy, with quite a bit of woods. It is very, very aromatic. The spices are so soothing and they all come together and play so nicely. This is a fragrance that will almost put you in a relaxed kind of trance. It has a beautiful note of lavender that balances all of the spices out really, really well. This is the first fragrance that made me love lavender. This fragrance is a true delight, and I can assure you will also get you compliments. It has some citruses, it definitely is a bit sweet, and it has a beautiful powdery dry down. This is a very elegant fragrance for the office that is bound to get you compliments without being overpowering. The next fragrance I think is one of the most beautiful fragrances that is just perfect for the office. I also consider this like the perfect daytime fragrance. This is not a fragrance that I would pull for evening occasions or for any nighttime activity. This is definitely a fragrance that is perfect for the day. It's a floral, woody, musky fragrance, and I am speaking about FLORAIKU Cricket Song. It opens with quite a bit of florals and citrus notes. It is also quite aromatic and the woods are always in the background. I don't know how to explain it, guys, but the florals here have been blended so well. I can't even distinguish what are the florals because they're all blended so nicely with that backdrop of woods, which gives the fragrance quite a bit of character. But the character is most appropriate like for daytime occasions. It's just a very smooth fragrance with an undertone of like understated elegance. I also think it's very appropriate if you are in a creative field. So if you work in an office of designers or artists of any type, this is a perfect fragrance. This next fragrance will not come as a surprise to you, and I am speaking about DELINA La Rosee. DELINA La Rosee is a lovely, fruity, floral fragrance. This, like Cricket Song from FLORAIKU, are fragrances that I think are best geared towards the seasons of spring and summer. These are not fragrances that I would pull for the fall and winter seasons, but come spring and summer, oh, it's so hard to not pull this fragrance almost every day. This is really, really a beautiful floral fragrance. It is fresh, aquatic, and fruity with quite a bit of rose. But at the same time, those fruity notes have a bit of like a tropical twist. This is another one of those fragrances that you could make your signature scent for the office and otherwise, but like I said before, for the spring and summer seasons only. This is also a fragrance that I would not pull for evening or night occasions. This, like FLORAIKU Cricket Song, is definitely a fragrance best geared for daytime occasions. It is extremely beautiful and soothing, and it just creates a flow to your day. In the category of fragrances for important meetings, you know, those days where you have an important meeting, whether it's in the office or you're stepping out of the office to attend that meeting, I have 3 fragrances that I think are perfect. This is what I would call more of like boss lady fragrances. I have to tell you that for a very long time, the boss lady vibe for me came from 2 XERJOFF fragrances that I did not include in today's lineup because I have talked about them before and I wanted to bring you a new variety of fragrances. But I have to do an honorable mention because those 2 fragrances are true boss lady fragrances. When you wear them, you will feel empowered and strong and able to speak your thoughts without any kind of apprehension. Those 2 fragrances are XERJOFF SYMPHONIUM and XERJOFF RICHWOOD. The first fragrance in this category that I want to share with you, and which is one of my favorite fragrances right now for the purpose of important meetings, important occasions where serious discussions will be taking place, is definitely ROJA Dove 51 Pour Femme. 51 Pour Femme is an amber floral fragrance, guys, that, it is elegance with confidence in a bottle. It is all in here. Not only will you know that you've arrived, but they will know that you've arrived. This is a fragrance that does make a statement, but it's not overpowering or loud or screechy. No, it is definitely kind of like an understated elegance and sophistication. They will want to hear what you have to say. This is the type of fragrance that pairs beautifully with a very sleek suit. This is a fragrance that you can make your signature scent for those special occasions. This is not one that I would pull every day or wear it every day to the office. I think that this fragrance is really worthy of those days where you know that you're going to have to take your game to the next level. This is a fragrance that you can use in any season of the year and day or night. This fragrance opens with a beautiful collection of white florals that are done in such a demure fashion. And I know because white florals tend to be a bit loud most of the time, but not in this fragrance. In this fragrance, they are quite, I would even say, understated. But they're smooth, they're perfect. And then there's this woodiness that comes in almost immediately after those white florals, and the woodiness and the white florals balance each other out. It is sweet and fruity with some vanilla. This fragrance, guys, is just unbelievable. There's also some yellow florals here that you will pick up on and appreciate midway towards the dry down. It also has a beautiful balsamic quality and a powdery dry down. The next fragrance that I have for you guys is unbelievable. I absolutely love this fragrance, but this one takes it up a notch from our previous fragrance, 51 Pour Femme. And I am speaking about Musique de Parfum Pianissimo. Pianissimo is a fragrance, guys, that makes such a statement. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I absolutely love the note of iris. And you also know that once we talk about iris, the dry down is for sure going to have some level of powderiness. This fragrance does have quite a bit of powderiness at the dry down on my skin. This is not for the faint of heart. You must like powdery fragrances. But that powderiness also gives this fragrance an air of intellectual sophistication with some undeniable elegance and self-confidence. This is for that boss lady that likes to strut. This fragrance opens with a ton of citrus notes, and it has a beautiful rose note that pairs beautifully with the iris. I've never seen those two notes work together so well. Those are truly the notes that I pick up on this fragrance. There's that collection of citruses, and then there's the iris, and then there's the rose always in the background. The rose is a bit of a mature rose, not a dated rose, not an old rose. No, it's a mature rose. She's not fresh and primp. She is definitely mature. This is a fragrance that you can pull any time of the year. But if I have to be honest with you, I would definitely say that this fragrance is perfect for the fall, winter, and spring seasons. This is not a fragrance that I personally pull during the summer, but could you get away with it? Absolutely. And you could do it day or night. The next and last fragrance in this category is from my third favorite fragrance house of all time, and I am speaking about BDK Tubereuse Imperiale. Now, if you've been with me for just about any amount of time, I'm sure that you've heard me speak about how much I love tuberose. I love white florals, but I just have something around tuberose. This used to be my favorite tuberose fragrance, and guys, this is my second bottle until I found Amouage Love Tuberose. Now this is my second favorite tuberose fragrance, but all in all, this is an incredibly stunning, beautifully done white floral fragrance. This is categorized as an amber fragrance, and I can tell you that this is one that you can pull. Oh my goodness, guys, this fragrance is just so good. You can pull it any season of the year, day or night. This is a fragrance that's going to get you compliments, and it is a fragrance that makes a statement, but it's not one of those that commands attention upon entering a room. She is not demure either, but she is a fragrance that is very balanced and very appropriate for those occasions where you want to take it up a notch, but still remain a bit demure. There is a silent mystery when you wear this fragrance. This is when they want to know what exactly are you thinking, or what are those next words that are going to come out of your mouth, but they really can't figure you out. You know, when you don't want to let them see you coming, this is the fragrance. It opens with a good amount of white florals, where the tuberose takes the lead. Trust me, the star of this fragrance, without a doubt, is the tuberose. It is woody, sweet, warm, spicy, with like an animalic quality to it, and a good bit of vanilla. In addition to those woody notes and that powderiness at the dry down, you also get like hints of incense, but this incense is so smooth. And I really believe that the incense is the one that infuses this fragrance with like an air of mystery. So are you ready? Because in this category, I have 3 fragrances that I'm going to tell you right now. These are not for the faint of heart. These fragrances are definitely fragrances that command attention. Not because they're loud or because they have any notes that are out of turn or screechy. No. These fragrances are perfectly blended. These fragrances to me are bordering on masterpieces, but I will also tell you that they're not really safe blind buys. These 3 are fragrances that if you decide that you want to pick them up, you either need to really be sure that the notes of the fragrance are notes that you love, or you need to get yourself a sample or a decant prior to picking them up. because these fragrances definitely make a statement. The first fragrance that I want to share with you is a fragrance, guys, that I cannot wear this and not get a ton of compliments. This is such a beautifully elegant but commanding type of fragrance. This is for those occasions where you want to arrive and let it be known that you've arrived, if you know what I mean. And I'm speaking about Atelier d'Or's Lune Feline. This fragrance is an amber vanilla fragrance that, guys, there is nothing else like this in my collection. It opens with so much vanilla. It is warm and spicy and ambery, and it all comes at you from that first sniff. There's a very strong balsamic quality to this fragrance and quite a bit of woodiness. It is very aromatic with a good amount of cinnamon. My nose picks up on that cinnamon probably about a couple of minutes into that first sniff. But that cinnamon is very present. Is it overpowering the other notes? No, not really, but it is definitely a cinnamon that you're not going to miss. At the dry down, this fragrance is also quite powdery. But it is like such a beautiful mix of all of these notes. And that woodiness is always in the background, giving this fragrance quite a bit of like intensity without being loud or screechy. That's what fascinates me about this fragrance, that it has so much character and so much oomph without being overpowering or overwhelming. This is not a fragrance that's going to leave too much of a trail, and it's not going to be crazy in projection for hours to come, but it is definitely one that when you walk in, people will start to get a slight sniff of your presence. Lune Feline is not one that I would pull for the summer or spring seasons. I would definitely only have this fragrance at hand during the fall and winter seasons, but that's just me. The next fragrance that I have for you guys is, oh my goodness. I tell you, these three last fragrances that I'm sharing with you, and by the way, I would not recommend these fragrances for days where you're just going to go to the office and then you go home. I would not recommend them for that use. On those days where you have cocktails after hours, or you're having a dinner meeting, or you have an important meeting immediately after the office, or there's a meeting in the office and then you're all going to dinner, so it's going to be a continuation of that business meeting that you had in the office, those are the days where I would pull these fragrances. So the next fragrance that I want to share with you is one that I don't hear people talk about much anymore. But this fragrance, guys, let me tell you, do not be mistaken. This is definitely a powerhouse. And I am talking about TIZIANA Terenzi's Porpora. Porpora is an amber floral fragrance that opens with the most, oh my goodness, the most amber that you could possibly imagine. It is warm, it is spicy, it has some rose, it has some patchouli, it's kind of musky, it's woody, fruity, smoky. There's just such a collection of notes and qualities and tonalities going on in this fragrance. This fragrance, truthfully, guys, I think is just so underrated. To me, it is a hidden gem. And I've actually loved that it's a hidden gem, because the other thing I wanted to tell you about these fragrances, I love that you don't quite sniff them on other people on the regular. These are not fragrances that you're going to find everybody's wearing, especially Porpora. Porpora is definitely a fragrance that if you're going to use it during the day in the office and then transition into a business night type of occasion, I would just spray it in your pulse points in the morning, and then for the evening, bring a decant or bring the bottle if it fits in your briefcase or in your handbag, and then spray a couple more before you leave for that night outing. But if you spray or overspray this fragrance is a beast, and everybody will know that you're wearing it. So just be cautious about that. But this fragrance is also a high compliment getter and will bring a ton of conversation, because it's not the type of fragrance that you can immediately distinguish what the notes are. You can't figure out if it's white florals, if it's yellow florals. Maybe you'll be able to pick up that there's rose in here, but then there's so much other stuff going on. There's patchouli, there's smokiness, there's woodiness, there's muskiness. It is a delight. I love it. Let me be the mystery. Let them not figure it out. Okay, guys, this last fragrance that I have for you, I am warning you. Do not, please, do not overspray this fragrance. This fragrance, oh my goodness. Let's just go into it. So I am speaking about Ex Nihilo Brompton Immortals. So this is the type of fragrance for those days in which you really want to feel like you're almost immortal. You know, when you have those days where you know that there will be meetings that will be quite stressful, on those days, that's when you want to pull this fragrance. This is one of the most attention-grabbing fragrances. This is one of those fragrances that will command attention once you approach people within the 2-foot range. So the projection is quite there. It also has quite a bit of sillage, but the beauty of this fragrance is that there is no loudness or screechiness to this fragrance whatsoever. But I do caution you, this is not a fragrance that I would use on an everyday basis at all. This is definitely for those specific occasions where you need an extra lift or oomph to your spirit in preparation for quite a stressful day. This is also a fragrance that I would not pull at all during the spring and summer seasons. I reserve this fragrance for the fall and winter for sure. And most of the time for occasions where, yes, there are activities going on at night, and if I have to be in the office during the day, I will just spray in my pulse points very lightly, sometimes even just on one. And then as the day progresses and I'm approaching the time where I'm going to that after hours event, then I spray the pulse points again and fully. But there is no need to do any more than that with this fragrance. It creates such an aura of sophistication. It is a beautiful fragrance. It smells luxurious, rich, opulent, self-confident, mature. It is definitely a beautiful fragrance for that type of occasion. This fragrance is very, very warm, spicy, and it has so much vanilla. There's also quite a bit of patchouli here. I would dare say that you have to like patchouli, because while the note of patchouli is not dominant, it is definitely one that you will pick up on. So if you don't like patchouli at all, then this fragrance is not for you. This is an intense fragrance, guys. This is a no joke type of fragrance, but it has such an impact for those occasions that I've described that I had to include it on this list. It is definitely a statement making fragrance. So if you want to go unnoticed, or you're going to be a group where you want to stay below radar, this is not the fragrance. Now, if you not necessarily want to be the center of attention, but if you want to be seen and heard, this is the fragrance. I had shared in the community tab of our channel that today I would be providing you with the details of the 5K giveaway. Yes, in case you've missed it, we have reached the 5,000 subscriber mark, and as a thank you, I plan to do a giveaway. Now, this giveaway will include 2 winners. Each winner will receive a $50 cash deposit via Cash App. The only requirements for the giveaway are that you are subscribed to this channel and that you also follow me on Instagram. The third and last requirement is that you leave a comment in any of the videos that I upload between now and March 1st. In that comment, all you have to write is include me in the Arahi giveaway. That's it. Include me in the Arahi giveaway. I will be announcing the winners the week of March 3rd. So all entries for these giveaways will conclude on March 1st. I will also leave the details of the giveaway in the description box of every video between now and March 1st. Once again, I just want to say thank you to all of you, and let's continue on this journey. All right, guys, so we've reached the end of this video, and I hope that I was able to give you enough options if you're looking for your next office type of fragrance. Anyway, as always, let me know if you have any questions in the comments section, and I will see you in the next video.